I hope everyone's having a great day. This is my new to me 2014 Audi Q7 with the 3-liter turbo diesel. So I had a quick question. I just purchased this from a local dealership out here, and obviously used as is. When I went and test drove it originally, it was still, someone just traded it in recently, so had really bad tires on and all that good stuff. I test drove it with the bad tires. The tires were horrible. Some of the worst tires I've ever driven on a car or SUV. Just really bad. I couldn't tell anything about the car. So unfortunately that day I struck a deal with them because they gave me about $5,000 off the car to purchase it at the time, which is cool, you know. So I bought the car. I told them, but it's contingent on me driving it again and making sure that everything else is good on it. Unfortunately, I was rushed that night. It's completely my fault, not the dealer's fault. I just signed the papers. I wanted to get out of there. I was extremely tired. It was a very long day. But everything else on the car, you know, around it's good. There's really nothing majorly wrong with it. As you can tell, the clipboard's covering up the sticker, so you can't tell where I bought it from. But I mean, there's nothing really crazy, you know, like this. The headlights are foggy. I can clean that up. That paint I don't care about. It's got brand new tires on it. They just look like they machined the rotors, did pads, which is cool. So the brakes are good all the way around, new tires. It's got a little dent right there. It is very dirty. I parked it in a not good spot in my house, so it got wet with the sprinklers. I'll take care of that. And then it's got a dent somewhere over here, right here. It's hard to see, but overall it's actually in very good condition. Everything works on it. There is only one major kind of problem with it. Let me show you the inside. It's not bad. I mean, this is mine. The seats have some wear, so does that side. That cup holder thing, the rubber's kind of doing some bacon dance right there. That needs to be replaced, but overall it's in really good shape. You know, for what I paid for it, you can't buy one of these for what I paid for this. You just can't. But so I go pick it up, drive it. I take it on the freeway, and I notice when I decelerate and when I'm kind of partially in the throttle and let off, I can hear some sort of noise. Me working on cars, gear noise right off the bat. Now, I didn't know this when I first bought this car, but apparently these have some issues with the front differentials. Very kind of rare, but still kind of a problem, because this Audi Q7 is pretty much the same as like a Volkswagen Touareg, and then you have the Porsche SUV, I think it's a Cayenne. So they're all pretty much built on the same platform. They all pretty much use the same parts for the most part. But found out the diffs are a problem. So right now I just checked it, spun up on the diff. It sounds like the pinion bearing on the differential, the front diff, is making some noise. But my question to you is, the dealership, either it was, should a car be sold in that state? You know, I don't know if I didn't know anything about vehicles, you know, that noise is going to get progressively worse. And if it does, there is the potential, you know, let's say it goes just unnoticed and nobody does anything about it, you know, say in 20, 30,000 miles, that bearing could start coming apart. You know, the differential could theoretically come apart, explode, or fracture, break. It could be catastrophic. It really could be. But I just want to get your opinion on if a big chain dealer like that should be able to sell a vehicle with something like that. Now, I am 100% not upset with the dealer at all. You know, this car is purchased as is. It's my fault for not driving it again, making sure that everything was good. So not blaming the dealer at all. Like I said, everything as is. When you buy a used car like this as is, I got a good enough deal on it where it is what it is. But there is one other thing that I wanted to show you. So let me get it up in the air and we'll take a look at it real quick. So as you can see, we got the new tires. There's one other problem that I did kind of forget to say, but this is the differential that we're having an issue with. This is the front diff. The noise is more towards the front pinion. I've tried to look up the information to rebuild it myself. There's very limited information on it. So that might be a thing where I just purchase a remanufactured differential and call it a day. So I know it's done right and it's all good. But I mean, as you can tell, you see there's some oil right there. That's what I'm getting to right now. Definitely looks like the drain plug's leaking. Whether they did an oil change or not, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do this oil change again. When I buy a used vehicle, I go through it myself, change everything, because These, with the emission system on it, this being a diesel, it has to take special oil that I think it doesn't have a certain chemical or some type of additive in it, because what it'll do is it'll actually damage the DPF. So I'm gonna go ahead and do an oil change so I know it's done, it's good. I'm gonna actually service the transmission. I'm gonna do the rear diff and the transfer case. I'm not gonna service the front diff. I'm not gonna waste my fluid on it, because I mean, the fluid's not expensive, but if there's fluid in it, it's fine. It's good for now until I get that figured out. But the thing is, you can see this drain plug's leaking, so we're gonna fix that right now. I'm gonna do an oil change on it. And then you can see there's oil right here. And then there's obviously oil back here. So I cleaned this off about a week ago after I bought it, because I noticed this. Unfortunately, another common problem on this specific engine is oil leaks. So the oil pans, I think it was the upper like to leak, and it looks like the upper might be leaking over in that corner or that corner. So it is what it is. I'll get that taken care of. And then also the rear main seal likes to leak, and that's what that looks like. Now, if you don't know about these TDIs, some of them, they have an extended warranty, emissions coverage, and sometimes you can get this covered. So I might be able to get the oil pan, maybe, or not the oil pan, sorry, the rear main seal covered, maybe the oil pan, I'm not really sure. To do the oil pan, I think you have to hang the engine, drop this because there's not enough clearance. But you know, it is what it is. We'll figure it out as we go along. Again, it's just a used car. You know, this vehicle does have 94,000 miles on it. These engines seem to be actually quite reliable. I see a lot of them for sale with over 200,000 miles. So they're doing something right. But this is just the main stuff I see. The drain plug, like I said, we'll fix that today. The transmission, see all this oil? This looks like to be coming from the front, so I'm not concerned with that. This is actually an ASIN transmission, Japanese, so transmission we don't have to really worry about. Got a nice transfer case, everything looks good. And I keep forgetting, but there is one more thing too. This seal right here on this, I think it has like a CV type joint in there. The seal's broken. This drive shaft, I don't think is serviceable in any way, shape, or form. I need to do more research and see, but I'm probably just gonna put a new drive shaft in it. They're not that expensive for a brand new like a I think it's GK and Lowbro, which is the original manufacturer of these drive shafts. They're about 500 bucks. This thing, I'm gonna use it to tow. I need it to be reliable. Like I said, the money that I saved on it, it's not really that big of a deal, because realistically, any of these vehicles that you buy like this, especially like this one with 90 something thousand miles, if I were to go buy another one, more than likely it would still have pretty much the same issues. It's just a common problem, you know. It's not the car's fault, it's not the dealer's fault, it's just a common issue with it, which is okay. But I just kind of curious on this oil leak. Kind of, you know, I would have figured they would have said something about it, but I don't know. This is why I can't stress the importance of a good quality pre-purchase inspection. You know, for any consumer that really doesn't know and is not handy, like this stuff isn't really that big of a deal to me, especially with the price. But you know, if you buy this car, let's say if this differential, let's say if you were to take this to Audi to replace this, guesstimating, I think the list on this front differential from the dealership, I want to say is $3,500 or $4,500. So plus the labor to do it, I'm gonna just guesstimate, say probably around $5,000 to $6,000 to replace this differential. Because not only do you have to drop the whole cradle, they say you have to hang the engine. I'm not really sure about that. I've never done one. But I mean, that is a lot of money to spend on something like this. If you just bought this car and let's say you paid the Blue Book asking price of it, and then you have to put $4 grand in it or $6,000 or whatever, you know, that's just a ton of money. So always get a pre-purchase inspection. Now, and again, drive shaft, you know, if you were to take that somewhere, you know, I can get it online for 500 bucks, but if you take it to, let's say, the dealership, this drive shaft probably cost $1,200 to $1,500 and probably another couple $100 in labor. So let's say, you know, $1,800 to replace it, somewhere around there is a good guess. I mean, and then God forbid we talk about this rear main seal. I mean, you're talking over $10,000 worth of work that this car essentially needs. That now you just bought this, let's say $20,000 car, and it needs another $10,000 worth of work to make it in good condition, you know. So please always take it, get a pre-purchase inspection, turn the radio off, turn the air conditioner off, always listen for noises. Like this noise right here, it wasn't very obvious, but I could still hear some type of gear noise. Obviously you could tell it was in the pinion, because when you accelerate it got louder, and because it's what it's doing, loading the pinion bearing. But just please get a pre-purchase inspection from somewhere that you trust, you know. And they're gonna charge you, you know, whether, you know, be an hour of labor, 2 hours of labor, doesn't really matter. Just pay the money. I mean, imagine spending, let's say 2 hours labor costs $300. You spend 300 bucks and it just saved you this $10,000 mistake. But for me, not a big deal. Not bashing the dealer. I wish they would have said something about, you know, the oil leak, because that's obvious. I mean, that is the drain plug. I can fix that. But the rear main seal, you know, it is what it is, though. You know, that's life. But just so you know, always get a pre-purchase inspection. Have your stuff checked out good. Drive it good. Take it on a nice long drive before you sign the papers. If they need to do something, go back, drive it again. Because once you sign those papers, it's yours. But I hope you learn from my mistakes, and it is what it is. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you do. Comment down below.